One of the things about Islam is that the oneness of God is tied to the oneness of humanity. And in fact, you cannot properly understand the implications of the oneness of God without seeing the oneness of humanity. It's one of the profound experiences when you talk about Malcolm X being the most famous American Muslim in history, or at least the most influential one, probably Muhammad Ali, his protege, being the most famous. Malcolm was the one who exposed the Hajj to so many people around the world for the very first time, especially here in the United States. And he talked about how Islam had a solution to racism in America precisely because the oneness of God forces you to see each other as one. When you understand that there is one God, that one God created you all as one, you no longer start to see each other as superior or inferior on the basis of anything. And in fact, we celebrate that oneness and we seek to bring out the best of one another rather than seeing ourselves as better than one another. This is of the beauties of how the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, speaks about service. Any of the prophetic traditions about service, about charity, do not speak to an exclusive group of people. In fact, they don't even speak to the Muslims alone and to the goodness of the Muslim only being for other Muslims. Rather, no one of you believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. The earliest scholars of Islam understood that this prophetic tradition from the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, that no one of you believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself, is not speaking about a brother in Islam, it's speaking about a brother in humanity. And that has wide implication. It starts from the spiritual part, that you want guidance for your brother and sister, the way that you want guidance for yourself. But then it extends to well-being, it extends to health, it extends to wealth. It extends to everything that you would want for yourself, and to see your brother and sister in humanity as an equal shareholder in this pursuit of God and in pursuing God, bringing out the best of human potential. When you see that the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, says the most beloved of people to God are those who are most beneficial to the people. And he goes on to say that being beneficial to the people starts with what? Starts with bringing happiness and joy to your brother or your sister, and then doing away with one of their debts, and then feeding them even a loaf of bread. But it's something so small that could even be giving a smile to someone or giving them a reason to smile, which is even superior to that. Smiling in the face of your brother or sister is a form of charity. A greater form of charity is giving them some form of joy which provokes a smile within them. And so the Quran and the prophetic tradition, when they speak about this oneness of humanity, it's not just breaking through superiority and inferiority. It's not just breaking through notions of some created beings being greater than other created beings. Rather, it promotes this pursuit of virtue amongst us to where we each seek to be the greatest version of human beings that we possibly can. And you can't be the greatest version of a human being unless you're in the service of other human beings and showing them the best version of yourself. Of the most beautiful descriptions of faith that we find in the Quran is that God describes the tree of faith as a beautiful word, a pure word, which is the testimony of faith, the testimony to the oneness of God and to the prophethood of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, which implies all of the prophets that came before as well by necessity. That it's a pure word, that it starts with, there's only one God, la ilaha illallah. And then when you plant that seed, you grow this beautiful tree, and the foundation is firm, and the branches are high in the sky. And those branches provide shade, not just to other Muslims, not just to family members or communities, but to everyone that is around you. There's shade, and there's fruit that is constantly being produced by that tree. So it's not a seasonal tree. Sometimes that fruit will be a smile. Sometimes that fruit will be a form of worship. Sometimes that fruit will be charity. Sometimes that fruit will be something that fits a particular circumstance of the particular person that is in the shade of that tree. But the point is that the believer walks around and in their connection to one God sees oneness in humanity and sees that they have to serve that humanity in order to truly serve their Lord.